Syracuse. Paulie's going to sit out the interview as we bring in the former All-American, former national champ, Steve Panarelli, joining us now to talk some lacrosse for the next 10 minutes or so. Steve, always great to chat with you. How are things? How are you doing these days?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm busy. I got two boys that are playing sports and getting big, so we're good, man. Everything's good.
Excellent. Love to hear that. All right, before we get into the Maryland game, I just kind of want to start with your expectations for this Syracuse team going into the season. Preseason number 2, they got a lot of guys back, especially on offense. New goalie in place, but what were your expectations prior to the Maryland game, just kind of going into the season for this team?
I think that they have the talent, obviously, and those guys are all a year older now. That class is juniors, and they've kind of been through it and went to the tournament last year, got a taste of that. So they've got the experience. I think the coaches have done a really good job with them over the last 2 years. I love the way they play defense. It's very basic. It's very simple, but you can tell guys are confident in it. They know what they're doing. I think like anything in lacrosse nowadays, when I was playing, maybe it was like 4 or 5 teams that you thought year in, year out. Now it's like every year it's kind of open. So it's kind of really who's peaking at the right time and who's playing well, come May.
So let's talk about the Maryland game now because, Syracuse ramped up to this game, right? They had 2 non-conference games you expected them to win. They won handily against Jacksonville and Vermont, and then they stepped up in competition a little bit more, took out Towson in the Dome, a nationally ranked opponent, top 20 team, took care of Towson, and then they went on the road for the first time to play their first top 10 opponent of the season in Maryland. What did you see? What was the biggest issue, I guess, for the Orange on Saturday in College Park?
I think it's kind of been the same story for kind of like the last 2 years. If you look at them offensively, they're skill-wise, they're the most talented group in the country. I mean, if they were playing box lacrosse 5-on-5, they'd beat everybody by 10 goals. Those guys are so skilled. That's why you see those crazy goals through the legs. Like that's normal for them. That's how good these guys are. The issue is, right now, and going back to last year, when you look at that Denver game in the playoffs and some other games where the offense was held down, they don't have that guy where it's like, just give him the ball, get out of the way, and he's either going to create a shot or he's going to, draw a slide. Because when you slide to the Syracuse team, right? So that's why when you see them blow out a Vermont or a Towson, and they put up 18, 19, 20 goals, they have matchup advantages, and they make you rotate and they make you slide. And then once you do that, you're dead. Because they're so good at getting open. You bang it behind to 22, Spalina. As soon as he catches that ball, he knows exactly where to go with it. And it's either a great look or it's in the back of the net. That's why they're so talented on the man up. When you give them a man advantage, it's lights out. I expect the ball, to go in the back of the net almost every time. Transition, they get a 5-on-4 or 4-on-3. It's a good look or a goal. 6-on-6, unfortunately, the game is still going to be, played at both ends 80, 85% of the time. And until they can find that guy to step up and say, just give me the ball, I'm going to make the defense rotate or slide, or I'm going to create my own look. When they go against these top-tier ACC Big Ten teams where they've got long, rangy, very athletic defensemen, you look at if you watch the game closely, these other coordinators are like, hey, we're going to get to our matchups. We're going to put our best defenseman on Joey. We're going to put our best pole, long stick midi on Leo, and then we're going to take our chances with everybody else. And if you're not running by guys, then we're just going to stay here in base, and we're not going to slide, we're not going to rotate, and we're going to make you beat us. And like I said, it's really been kind of the offense's issue the last 2 seasons. They haven't had that guy that could just win a matchup whenever he wants and create that defense to slide and rotate.
So the casual fan will probably say, why isn't Joey Spalina that guy, right? He's the big name on the offense. He's a junior now. Why is he not that guy who could get the ball in his stick and just say, go make a play for us?
It's, Joey to me, right? I'll say this, when I watched Joey play in high school, I said to somebody, I was in the stands at a summer league game. I go, this guy is going to be an incredible box player. He might be the best, when it's all said and done, he might be the best American-born box player. And when this guy plays in the PLL, he's going to have 6-7 points a game. You heard it here first. When he plays with athletes around him and guys that can draw it and move it, he is the best. And he's the best in the country. Is he going to run by the ACC defender that's 6'3", 2-something, has great feet, and really disciplined? Not really his game. That's not what he does. So, they needed to surround him with dodgers. Like if Joey played the team my freshman year where we had Steve Malone, Sean Lindsay, and Kevin Doherty at the midfield, where each one of those guys was like pick your poison, they're going to draw the slide every time they dodge against a short stick, forget about it. He'd have even more points per game than he's had in his career. So Joey's a phenomenal talent. Can he beat his guy every once in a while? Yes, absolutely. Is he the guy that you're going to go to every single time and expect him to beat that, first team, second team, third team All-American type defender? Not really his game. If you look at the Maryland, the one goal he scored where he kind of dodged from behind, he got the pick at goal line, and all he needs is really that half a step to get his hands free. So they're going to have to do more things like that where they, are throwing picks at certain spots where guys can, like a guy like Leo or Joey, can just get their hands free, get that step, or run that pick, get the switch, and now you get Joey matched up on a short stick or Leo matched up on a short stick, or even Roa. I think he could be more of an aggressive dodger. He looks very athletic to me. He could go at the short stick, but they've got to find and create those matchups where, like, right now, if you watch them play offense, when guys are dodging and those slides are coming, it's just dodge down the alley, you throw it back up top, he goes down the alley, throws it back up top, and it's like the same thing over and over again. They've got to find someone that, again, could be that playmaker. It's like, if you owned a basketball team and I was your general manager and I said, I got 5 guys that are going to be in the starting lineup. They play good defense, they can rebound, and they're the 5 best three-point shooters in the league. But not one of them can create their own shot, and not one of them can penetrate the lane and dish it out and draw a double team. Do you want that lineup? You probably don't, right?
Flawed,
you need someone. Yeah, you need someone, an Allen Iverson with those 4 other guys that can now get into the lane, draw the double, and bang, he's kicking it out to a spot-up shooter. They got all those guys. I mean, they are, like I said, I'm going to say if you watch them in practice in odd man situations and man up and man down, they're putting the ball in the back of the net at a high rate, probably higher than anybody. But I bet when they go 6-on-6 against the defense, I bet things slow down because that defense has kind of what every other ACC. They got the big, tall, rangy defenseman in Dwan, and then you got athletic guys that can guard the short sticks. Like, until they can find someone, again, that can either be the guy as far as just drawing a slide. I'm not even saying go down and just run by your guy and score, but just draw a slide, get that attention. Because once you get it to Joey behind the X and the defense is rotating, they're going to get great looks.
Yeah, that basketball lineup that you just threw out there, we've actually seen that quite a bit this year, especially when J.J. Starling was out. I'm not sure about the good defense. I'm not sure they've played good defense at all this year, but I understand what you're saying. If you don't have somebody who can get by their guy and create, you're in a whole lot of trouble, and we have seen that with this hoops team. So that kind of brings me, leads me to my next question. You answered it a little bit there, but what can be done? Because you're not making trades during the season, right? It's not like you can go into free agency and find that guy. So is this an issue, Steve, in your mind that is going to continue to pop up for the Orange? And if so, I mean, you touched on it there with how to work around it, but how can you scheme it so that, this problem, I guess, can be minimized moving forward?
You got to find ways to get out in transition, right? I know they do that, and Syracuse has always been a transition-orientated team. They got to try to get, more ways of doing that. Guys have really got to push the ball. And then when you get to that settled 6-on-6, like I said, I mean, whether it's playing the 2-man game, kind of clearing out the side, because you got a bunch of guys that are talented box guys, so it's try to get them in a space where they can operate 2-on-2 and everybody's either really high or you're coming off the side there, off the wing, and everybody's kind of off to the other side. It's picks, right? Like I said, trying to create a matchup and not just settling for the matchup that you have with you. Bringing Joey off a pick, Leo, any of those guys, right? Those guys know how to play in the 2-man game. Like Deere, I know for a fact he grew up playing box lacrosse. You get that guy in a 2-man situation, he knows how to play a pick and roll. So they're gonna have to do things like that. But really, until they can do that, when they play these top tier, like Virginia, they're gonna have a bunch of long, rangy dudes that can cover. Like, how do you get guys hands free? And it's going to be picks. It's going to be off-ball movement, things like that, and trying to get some cheap ones, in transition. But like I said, even when you go back to that Denver game last year, everybody's like, hey, what do you think? I'm like, I looked at the bracket. I'm like, we're in trouble in the quarters. Oh, why? Well, because Denver's defense, everybody's 6'3". They can all run. They're long. They're rangy. Their short sticks play great defense. Where's our matchup? Where's the win? Where do we draw the slide? If you go back to that film, I don't think Denver slid the entire game, and the offense stalled. And until they figure that out, the offense is going to struggle. I think defensively, They played really well. I've been really impressed. The goalie's played really well. My only thing with him is he gives up a couple rebounds. If he could just handle it a little bit better, a little bit cleaner on the shot, that'll lead to more transition as well. If he can handle the shot and not give up that rebound, that'll get guys up and down a little bit better. But defensively, they've looked really strong. They've played really well. Like I said, they keep it basic, they keep it simple, and these guys know what to do and where to be. And against lesser teams, they're going to blow them out. They are. They're going to beat teams 18-7, 18-6, 20. They're going to put up big numbers when they play the Dukes, the Virginias, the Marylands, the Notre Dames. Can the offense operate in the 6-on-6? That's going to be the biggest question for them. From the first face-off, if you look at the first 6-7 possessions when it's settled 6-on-6, and you haven't seen the other team slide once, and they got no goals, you're going to be in for a long day.
Yeah. I mentioned in the intro, you're a former All-American in this program. You won a national title, and you were part of like the end of that golden era, right? You guys won a title in 2004, then 2008, 2009, and it's been slim picking since then, right? And so you were kind of on the back end of that. What does it mean to you, Steve, to see Syracuse, back in the top five, right, to start the season, and talked about as a potential Final Four participant and getting back in the national championship mix? As an alum, I guess, can you speak to the state of the program, where things are right now under Gary Gait, fourth year now, and it seems like they're building back toward what you were and your teammates were used to seeing year in and year out around here?
Oh, it's been great. I think Gary's done an excellent job, and his entire staff. I mean, you look at the recruits they're bringing in, some of the guys they've gotten in the transfer portal, even just his relationship with alumni, the constant communication he has with everybody. He's done a really good job. He's got his own way of doing things, right? You're not going to see Coach Gait yelling or screaming on the sideline. That's not his style at all. But whatever he's doing has been working. And these guys play with high confidence, and they play hard every game. I mean, the effort is always there. The energy is always there. And like I said, the talent level has gotten much better since Gary's taken over. It's obvious. And you have to be very talented to play in the ACC to have a chance. And he's done a good job in recruiting. And like I said, it's good to see him back. There was definitely some years there, where it started to slip a little bit for, various reasons. But he's definitely pumped some new energy, some new life into it. And that junior class has really, spearheaded everything, for them. And hopefully they can get over the finish line, whether it's, this year or next year, as they go into their senior year.
And back at it Saturday, another ranked opponent coming to town in Harvard. Steve, this was great. We're out of time, unfortunately, but it was great catching up with you, and hopefully we can talk more lacrosse as this season progresses.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
All right, Steve Panarelli joining us here on the show.